Auga, auga, auga. Get your whoop. And hi. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are going to be breaking down UFC 286, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. And listen to that. Last time we spoke about this, we were speaking with Usman's name first.
Yeah, I know. This wild, eh?
He is no longer the champion. That man got knocked the fuck. I'm joking. That man got knocked
He really
out.
did. So, yeah, man, no. Like you said, the last fight, everyone, like even we said, Usman was going to take it. Then all of a sudden, in the last minute, Leon Edwards did something. He literally threw a kick that was heard around the world.
Oh, yeah.
It was beautiful. It came out of nowhere. It left us all speechless. But now we have the rematch. Now this, everyone knows, the first fight Usman dominated, right? Because this was just standard wrestling Usman. The second fight, Edwards got that little sneaky takedown in the first round, which was really cool for him. He took the first round, but then Usman just came and showed why he's the champ. Second, third, and fourth, and most of the fifth, just dominating. He was just always in top position, always had him against the cage, was always in control. And then as we all saw, Leon Edwards just, threw the just most beautiful kick. It gives me goosebumps every time I watch it, dude. I loved it.
Yeah.
So this fight, essentially, there's not a lot to say here. They fought twice already. They fought very recently. And pretty much it just comes down to Usman just needs to do exactly what he did before, because let's face it, he was winning that fight. But Edwards is he can just pull that thing out of nowhere. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's just
He can pull that trump card out of nowhere.
He can just throw that little sneak attack, comes out of nowhere. You got to be prepared for him. Edwards definitely had a lot of flaws in his game in that second fight. So we have to see how it goes, but I'm so excited, man.
It's very tricky because with Leon Edwards, he never gave up, even though he was in such terrible positions in that second fight.
But I mean, he's an 11-fight win streak, bro.
He set up that head kick.
Yeah.
He set up that head kick beautifully. And we know that Leon Edwards, he's a more balanced fighter than people give him props for.
Oh, yeah.
But that wrestling advantage that Usman had, and you notice that particularly in the clinch, when he was holding him against the cage, stalling the fight, that was where it was like, there's no way this guy's going to take this. He throws that head kick and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So now I really wonder what's going to happen in this rematch. Especially because from listening to guys like Joe Rogan on his podcast, you hear that Usman's got really terrible knee problems.
Yeah.
To the extent where he's got to go downstairs backwards and he can only jog on like grass.
It's wild,
You know what I'm saying? So I wonder, is Usman's body reaching its limit?
And he's also got the busted. He had huge surgery on his hand.
Yeah.
If you see all his training footage that he's posting on his social media, he's got his fingers taped and his hand, he obviously looks like he's still dealing with a bit of issue there. So maybe, you got a point, dude. Maybe this has just overworked himself and his body is slowly falling apart now.
We just don't know. But before we get onto this fight a little bit too much, we got to talk about our co-main fight, which is going to be an insane lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. Sheldon, take us straight into this one.
This one, oh my God, this is just going to be a banger, man. So this is Justin Gaethje. Everyone knows who he is. He's the lightweight monster, top 5 boogeyman. He's the guy who made the boogeyman bleed,
Yeah.
Like, just think about that.
Rest in peace.
So Justin Gaethje, everyone knows him. He's a guy who's just willing to scrap. He will throw down with anyone and everyone. He's such a mean fighter. He's just got so much strength in his punches. Like we were saying, what he did to Tony Ferguson. This guy was on like an 11-fight win streak. What was it? Something crazy. He was supposed to be fighting Khabib. Gaethje just, after that fight, Tony Ferguson was never the same.
Never the same.
Know? But
legitimately might have given him brain damage.
Yeah, they also might have just kicked in all that CTE, bro. It was wild. But his opponent, Rafael Fiziev, is not Tony Ferguson, all right? He's actually almost like another new Justin Gaethje. They've got the same similar build, and Rafael Fiziev is just a monster. He has so much power. He is so clever in his fighting. That 3-piece combo that he knocked out Moicano with is just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, where he just goes body shot straight and then jab. I mean, jab straight, sorry. And it was just, oh, dude, everything he's been doing, Rafael's been knocking out everyone. He's just been destroying through a division. Now, essentially, he's trying to make his way into the top 5.
Yeah, Fiziev he's truly an Azerbaijani assassin. I would say the similarities between him and Justin Gaethje are very true. However, I state that he is considerably more technical in his striking. Justin Gaethje, when he first started in the UFC, he was very raw and he utilized his conditioning and his kind of endurance to get through
it's like a
lot of his fights. Yeah, and it was almost like he is more used to being exhausted than his enemy, and that's why he would defeat his enemies. Then he started working with Trevor Whitman, and his striking drastically changed. Rafael Fiziev, we know he's undefeated in the UFC going all the way back to 2020, and he's got some incredible knockouts, like that Hanato Moicano knockout that you're talking about. But most recently, in the 5th round, his left hook of Rafael dos Anjos. And that is not a man who gets knocked out easily. That is not a guy who gets taken out easily. So Fiziev, using his technical striking and using his really, really high-level knowledge of the striking game, I really wonder where this fight's going to go. I think it's going to be a serious barn burner. And I know that Justin Gaethje can be defeated by more technical strikers.
Yes, he can.
He's lost to Dustin Poirier, a more technical striker. He's lost to Eddie Alvarez, a more technical striker. And he does lose to submission artists, but I don't think we're going to be going down that route.
I don't think we're going to go down onto the ground in this fight. Someone's definitely going to bleed. That's the only way I can see it. Okay, so moving on, we've got another an interesting fight. We've got Gunnar Nelson versus Bryan Barbarena for a welterweight bout. Now, Gunnar Nelson was supposed to be fighting D-Rod, but
Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah, Daniel Rodriguez. So I always call him D-Rod, man.
You make it sound like he's a guy from the sections.
Good old D-Rod. Oh, D-Rod, man. Yeah, I saw him yesterday.
D-Rod from high school.
So he was supposed to be fighting Daniel Rodriguez. I don't know why it got cancelled. I think Rodriguez either got sick or he might have got injured. But Bryan Barbarena just stepped up to have the fight. Now, Bryan Barbarena is just like, dude, he's literally just a Texan country man. Like, he showed up to one of the press conferences just wearing overalls. No shirt, just standard denim overalls, bare chesting it, bro. And yeah, he's a guy who just likes to throw down. He's just a man who loves to just, he's like another Justin Gaethje. He just wants to go in there and just scrap.
And he doesn't care about wins, losses. He doesn't really care about where he's going to be in the division. Bryan Barbarena is a guy who just loves to scrap. Like, when he loves to get that 50K bonus. When he scrapped with
Robbie Lawler, it's pretty much what you just said. Both of them didn't even look like they were like, I don't care if I get knocked out. Let's just keep throwing at each other. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And he's going up against Gunnar Nelson, who back in the day, Gunnar Nelson was making a serious streak towards the welterweight belt, which got squashed by Damian Maia. And since then, he's kind of played this interesting kind of gatekeeper role whilst nursing a lot of different injuries. He's a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but not like a super high level where he can take everybody out. And I think that's where he's going to have the big advantage against Bryan Barbarena. Because Bryan Barbarena, I haven't seen his ground game to be that. I don't see it being like black belt.
It's not. I think he's coming off a loss most recently. He had the Robbie Lawler win, and then his next fight, I can't for the life of me remember who it was against, but he lost by a submission. Yeah. So he's a Texan man. He's like a farmer, bro. He just wants to scrap. He doesn't give a shit about ground game. Who needs ground game? But yeah, no, it should be a good fight. Like I said, it's one of those fights where they're kind of both journeymen at this point. Bryan Barbarena has been here a while, but he's had some great fights, but he also loses against top contenders. Hence why he hasn't made it into top 15 or any sort of ranked yet. But it's just a really good bout against two journeymen. You know what I mean?
100%.
Oh, it's going to be good.
And the last kind of big bout on the main card that I'd like to talk about is Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze.
I actually didn't know this was, I don't know when they announced this. I found this out yesterday, and I was like, what the hell?
This one's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
So everybody knows Marvin Vettori, but I want to start with Roman Dolidze. The last time we saw Roman Dolidze, he got that crazy calf slicer ground and pound combination.
Jack Manson,
That was insane.
Wow.
And that was on Jack Manson, who's not he's not a low-level guy in the division. He's a guy who frustrates a lot of top-level dudes. So Roman Dolidze, he's got that really, really, really solid ground game, very, very tricky ground game. But in addition to that, he's got solid stand-up and he rushes his opponents. He rushes them, and he's got a really, really aggressive initial style.
It's funny because everything you just said also you can be applied to Marvin Vettori. Everything you just said can exactly be applied to him. So this is why it's great, man.
Because Marvin Vettori, he's got a very aggressive rushing in style. Marvin Vettori, he doesn't have any KO power I've seen.
He doesn't, but he's
gonna frustrate you. He's
strong.
Gonna get in your face. He's strong. He's gonna take you down. He's gonna annoy you. And usually, unless you're a top high level guy like Israel Adesanya or Robert Whittaker, you're gonna lose to Marvin Vettori.
Yeah. I see this fight, like you said, Marvin Vettori is definitely a top 5 contender. He's always going to stay there. He's only ever going to lose to the best. I definitely see this fight If it stays on the feet, it could be interesting. But this is one of those fights where I feel like if it goes to the ground, a lot of people who are very casual watching like MMA and UFC, they're not really gonna be like, oh, this is boring. But if you know the sport, you're gonna realize it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be very technical when they go to the ground. There's gonna be so much interesting things that they can do to each other.
Extremely.
I think in terms of the ground, Marvin Vettori's physique and just his overall, just like muscles and his strength, I feel like he'll have a little bit more power on the ground. But I've never seen, to be fair, Roman Dolidze hasn't gone up against like a Marvin Vettori level like wrestler and just, yeah. So I don't know which way this fight's going to go. I'm actually really excited for it because
I'm really excited for this one too.
If Marvin Vettori wins, who does he fight? I mean, okay, Alex Pereira's champ, so he can still come back, but he's lost to Robert Whittaker. He's lost to Izzy twice. So it's kind of hard for him to come back. But if Roman Dolidze wins, hey, we got some fresh blood, dude, finally.
Exactly.
Middleweight needs it, man.
Exactly.
And then moving on, there's nothing really else that's like noteworthy to talk about, if I'm honest with you. On the main card, we've got a women's flyweight bout that should be pretty interesting. Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. And then prelims, I'll be honest with you, man. There's some good fights, but there's nothing super, super interesting that stands out to me.
But yeah, I think really what we're here for is to see what's going to happen to this welterweight division.
Yep.
Because that's going to have massive implications. If Usman has the belt, then it's same old,
We're
back to square one.
Yep.
Colby can't do anything.
Yep.
Masvidal can't do anything. Gilbert Burns can't do anything.
Yep.
We're all just going to watch the Shavkat and Hamzat show. And if Edwards wins, blood in the water.
Yeah.
There's blood in the
Everyone's
water.
coming.
Everybody is trying to get a title shot, which means everybody wants to fight everybody again.
fact,
Colby
yeah.
hasn't been fighting anybody because it's like, okay, who cares if I win?
Exactly.
What's going to happen?
Where do I go?
Where do I go? He fought Masvidal because it's like, okay, that's a beef fight.
Yeah,
I'm going to make
fight.
a bunch of money. And then it's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's making money off of doing like those betting odds videos.
Yeah, man.
So it's like the division has become really stagnant in the Usman era.
And I think it's quite funny because all these guys, they've been smart about it. They've all taken fights now. Like Colby's fighting Bilal Muhammad. Masvidal is fighting Gilbert Burns. Because they're all smart about it. Because they all took these fights. Because if they win and Leon Edwards wins, they're all back in the picture.
Immediately.
If they win and Usman wins, they can just sit back and wait a couple months and do like a money fight. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So yeah, dude, this fight has big welterweight implications. And to be fair, dude, the welterweight division, it needs a stir, bro.
Somebody's
It's
got to stir that pot.
Yeah.
It's about damn time.
It's about damn time, man.
But anyway,
yeah, that sums up about UFC 286, huh?
that sums up our UFC 286. Give us a like and subscribe and tell us in the comments what you think the results are going to be.
Yes. Who's gonna be champion of the welterweight division?